Welcome to the tutorial on the topic Accessing Databases with JDBC. This topic is from Module 6. In the previous video sessions, I have covered the topics AWT, AWT Control Fundamentals, Basics of Swing, and difference between Swing and AWT. In this session, I will be discussing the remaining topics of Module 6, that is mainly JDBC overview, creating and executing queries. And this topic belongs to course outcome CO5. After watching the video session, you will be able to write queries using JDBC connectivity. So, the objectives of today's session are to explain about DBMS and database, to give an overview about JDBC, to discuss about JDBC architecture, to illustrate the basic steps of JDBC connectivity, to understand how to write and execute queries using this JDBC connectivity. So what is a DBMS? You may know what is a DBMS, what is a database. You have studied these topics in your subject Principles of Database Design. So I will give an overview of DBMS and database. DBMS is a collection of a database is a collection of related data organized in a way so that the stored data can be easily accessed, managed, and updated. So we can say a database is a collection of related data. For example, what is a college database? College database is nothing but it organizes the data about the student, staff, admin, faculty, etc. And using this database, we can easily retrieve the data, you can insert data, you can delete the information, or you can update the existing information. Then database management system. What is database management system? It is a software that allows to create or define or manipulate the database. It allows users or allow us to store data, process the data in a database. We can analyze the data easily using a DBMS software. So it is an interface or it is a tool. It helps to perform various operations like creating database, storing data, updating data, creating tables in a database, and a lot more. It not only provides the provisions to operate data, it also provides protection and security to the data in the database. It also maintains data consistency. So, a database is a collection of related data, and database management system is a software that helps to create or define or manipulate a database. So databases are of several types. A text database is there, desktop based database program is there, RDBMS is there, NoSQL or object oriented databases are there. So for example, file is a database. It is an example of a text database. We can say Microsoft Excel spreadsheet is another database. It also stores data, and it stores data in a tabular format. Then relational database management system. Relational database management system is a DBMS system that stores data in table format as rows and columns. A SQL Server, Oracle database, Sybase, MySQL, all are examples of RDBMS. And NoSQL means it does not store data in the form of relational database, or it does not store data as tabular data. And Facebook, Twitter, Instagram are examples of NoSQL. It can store data as either key value pair, or it may store data in the document format, or it may store data as graph. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. are examples of using NoSQL database. Then coming into our topic, that is what is JDBC. JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity. It is an API. It is an application programming interface, and it is a Java based API for what? For database independent connectivity between Java programming language and a wide range of databases. So using JDBC, a Java program can establish a connectivity to a database, whether it can be a Sybase database, or it can be MySQL, or it can be Oracle database, or it can be Postgres database. It establishes database independent connectivity between Java programming language and any database. It helps to access any kind of tabular data, that is any kind of relational database. And it is platform independent. It can work on a variety of platform like Windows, Mac OS, various versions of Unix, and using this JDBC API we can save or update, delete or fetch data from the database through an Java application. Then this Java JDBC API enables us to connect to relational databases like MySQL, PostgreSQL, MS SQL Server or Oracle or H2 database. And this JDBC is a part of core Java SDK. It is a part of Java software development kit, and you don't have to separately install JDBC. It comes as a part of Java SDK. So it makes JDBC available to all Java applications. And through this JDBC, a Java application can make or establish a connection to any relational database. So what are the functionalities or which all tasks does a JDBC library provide? It helps to establish a connection to a database. It helps to create SQL statements. It helps to execute SQL queries in a database. It helps to view and modify the resulting records. What is SQL? It is structured query language. It is a programming language that helps to access data in a database. Using this SQL programming language, we are able to create table. You are able to delete table. You can insert records into a database. You can fetch those records or select records from the database. You can update the record. You can delete rows from a table. You can perform all these operations on a database using structured query language, and this follows ANSI standard. Then the current version of JDBC is 4.3. It is a stable release since 21st September 2017. And the very important point is the package associated with this is java.sql package. So if you want to write JDBC programs, or if you want to write or execute queries using JDBC, you have to import which package? Java.sql package. It contains all the necessary classes and interfaces for JDBC API. Then why JDBC? Before JDBC, Open Database Connectivity API or ODBC API was the database API to connect and execute query, but it was written in C programming language and it was platform dependent and unsecured. So Java defined its own API, JDBC API. It uses JDBC drivers. We will see what do you mean by driver in the coming slides. And it is purely written in Java language. Then, so JDBC API helps to access database from my Java application through JDBC driver. JDBC API establishes connection to a database through JDBC drivers. Then what is a JDBC driver? Again, it is a software component which enables a Java application to interact with a database. So JDBC driver is essential software component in order to interact with a database. So depending on the database, we can choose JDBC driver. You have to download and install the necessary JDBC driver. And JDBC drivers implement defined interfaces in a JDBC API. It implements the required interfaces to connect with a database server. So first, you have to register and load a JDBC driver that enable you to open database connectivity and to interact with the database by sending SQL or database command. And there are several JDBC driver types are there. Type 1, type 2, type 3 driver. We will see these driver types in the next slide. You understand the difference between these drivers. First one is JDBC ODBC bridge driver. That is also known as type 1 driver. And this driver uses, JDBC driver in turn uses open database connectivity, that is a program written in C to connect to database. So this JDBC ODBC driver will first convert the JDBC method call to ODBC call, and it can be used to connect to any type of database. Then next is type 2 driver, that is native API. In this case, JDBC calls are converted to C or C++ API calls. Then is JDBC pure Java driver. Here there is a three-tier approach. Here JDBC client uses a network socket to communicate with a middleware application server, and that socket information is translated by middleware application server into required format of DBMS, and then it is forwarded to database server. So in this case, a additional middleware application server is required. That middleware application server will convert JDBC call to required format of DBMS. Fourth one is 100% pure Java driver. It is a Java based driver communication, and it directly communicates with vendor's database through socket connection. There is no middle layer. There is no middleware application server. And this is the highest performance driver available for the database. And that is provided by database vendor itself. So there are mainly 4 type of driver. Type 1, Type 2, Type 3 and Type 4. And Type 4 is thin, also known as thin driver, because it is 100% pure Java based driver. Then since there are different type of drivers, we should know which driver should be used when. Suppose we are accessing only one type of database. That means you may be accessing only Oracle or Sybase or MySQL database. Then the preferred driver type is 4. That is 100% pure Java driver. But if your Java application is accessing heterogeneous databases, that means you are accessing multiple type of databases at the same time, then you have to use type 3 driver. And type 2 driver is useful in situations where type 3 or 4 is not available, and type 1 driver is not used nowadays. It is used only for development and testing purposes. So if you are using only one type of database at a time, type 4 driver is preferred. If you are using multiple type of databases at the same time, type 3 is preferred. Then moving into details of JDBC architecture. There are 2 types of architecture, 2-tier and 3-tier architecture. In 2-tier architecture, there is no middleware. Query or request is sent by the Java program, and that can directly communicate with database. There is no middleware layer between Java program and database. So it needs a JDBC driver to communicate with a specific database. Query sent by user is directly sent to the database, and results from the database received back by the user. And that database may be present on the same machine or any remote machine. And this is also known as client server architecture. So first type of architecture is client server architecture or 2-tier architecture. There is no middleware layer. The Java program can communicate directly with the database with the help of a JDBC driver. So here the first figure is a 2-tier architecture. In the second figure we can say a application server. There is a middle layer, and the requests are first sent to this middle tier, and that middle tier will send the request to the database, and database processes the request, send the result back to the middle tier first. Middle tier will communicate with the user. So that is the main difference between 2-tier architecture and 3-tier architecture. In 2-tier architecture, there is no middleware. User or application can directly communicate with the database system. And the 3-tier architecture, that is an application server. The requests are first sent to application server. Application server will send the request to database system. So we can say JDBC architecture consists of 2 layers. First one is JDBC API. Second one is JDBC driver API. JDBC API will provide communication between application and JDBC manager. That is, it provides Java application to JDBC manager connection. JDBC driver API support manager to driver connection. So JDBC API uses driver manager to provide transparent connectivity to heterogeneous databases. There is a driver manager is there. It will provide the connectivity to heterogeneous databases. This driver manager ensures that correct driver is used to access each data source. So for each database, there are separate drivers, And who is choosing the correct driver? It is a responsibility of driver manager to choose the correct driver to connect to the data source. So these are the components of JDBC architecture. Java application program. It can communicate with databases with the help of JDBC driver manager class and JDBC driver. Driver manager will be establishing or choosing the appropriate driver, and it will establish a connection to database. That means, suppose you want to connect to Oracle database, driver manager has to choose Oracle driver. If you want to establish a connection to Sybase database, then driver manager will choose the JDBC Sybase driver. So it is the responsibility of driver manager to choose the appropriate JDBC driver to establish a connection to the backend or a connection to the required data source. So this is a figure of JDBC architecture. Java application, JDBC driver manager, JDBC driver, and database is there. Next one is driver manager class. Driver interface is there. Connection interface is then statement interface, prepared statement interface, callable statement interface, and finally result set. All these classes and interfaces help you or your Java program to establish a connection to database. It helps to write queries and execute SQL queries. Also helps to process or analyze the result stored in result set object. So in order to establish a connection with the JDBC, there are mainly 8 steps are there. This is a repeatedly asked question in your university questions for 9 marks. You will be asked to explain the steps of JDBC connectivity with the help of sample programs or sample code. So you have to write these 8 steps. First one is import JDBC package. Second one is you have to register the JDBC driver. Then open a connection to database. Then create a statement object to execute a query. We can execute the statement object and it will return a query result set. Then we can process the result set. After processing the result set, you have to close result set object, statement object, finally close the connection object. So we will see these steps in detail with help of programs. First one is you have to import the required JDBC package. That is import java.sql.star or java import oracle.jdbc.driver.star or import oracle.sql.star. Next step is very important step. We can establish connection to database only through JDBC driver. So it is very important to choose the appropriate JDBC driver and load that class into memory. So driver helps to make connection to database. So it must be first loaded. Registering the driver is a process by which the class file of a driver is loaded into memory. After it is loaded into memory, it can be utilized as an implementation of JDBC interfaces. Then how you can load JDBC driver into memory? It can be done in 2 ways. First approach is driver manager.register driver method. That is a static method. Register driver method of driver manager class, and it will return an object. Driver, first you have to create the object of driver, whether it is Oracle driver, whether it is MySQL driver, which database you are using. Based on that you have to create the driver object. After creating driver object, you have to use the method driver manager.register driver, and argument of that method is driver object. Once this step is done, that class file, driver class file will be loaded into memory. There is another method or second approach for loading JDBC driver is using class.forName method. It will dynamically load driver's class file into memory and then register it. And this is more easier and preferable method. And forName method belongs to java.lang class. So here the code snippet is for loading JDBC driver for Oracle database into memory. For that, class.forName give the name of the driver inside the method. Then next one is you have to establish connection to the database. So in order to establish a connection to database, you must first form URL of your database. You have to give the URL of your database. And in order to establish connection to database, we are using get connection method that belongs to driver manager class. So the format of this method is connection, get connection. You can pass the URL. In the second format, you have to pass the URL of the database, what is the name of the database, and what is the password. Whenever you install a database, you will give the name, there will be username, and there will be password for accessing that database. So in order for the get connection method to work, you have to pass the URL of the database as well as the name and username and password, and the get connection method will return a connection object. So in the second table, URL format is given for JDBC driver of MySQL and for Oracle database. The URL format of MySQL database is JDBC : MySQL : host name you have to give and database name you have to give. For Oracle database, the format is JDBC : Oracle : thin, then give the host name, the port number as well as database name. And for MySQL, the driver name is com.mysql.jdbc.driver, and for Oracle, the driver name is oracle.jdbc.driver.oracle driver. You have to study the names of MySQL driver as well as Oracle driver, and you should know the format of URL. So third step is connecting to a database. You have to create a connection object, and that is done using get connection method of driver manager class. And to the get connection method, we have to pass the database URL, username as well as password. So this is a code snippet explaining how to establish a connection with the Oracle database. Driver manager.get connection. Here we are trying to connect to Oracle database, so you have to give the URL of Oracle, JDBC Oracle thin @ here host name is localhost, then you have to give a port number, then you have to specify the username and password. Here the username is system, password is password itself, and driver manager.get connection method returns a connection object. Then after creating a connection object, you have to create a statement object to perform a query. How to create a statement object? For that we have to use create statement method of connection interface. And syntax of this method is create statement, and it throws SQL exception, and this method will return a statement object. So after creating connection, you have to use a create statement method of connection interface, and that is used to perform the query. And after create statement, we will get a reference of statement object. So that I have told there are three types of statement interface: prepared statement, callable statement. Statement interface is used for general purpose access. It is not able to accept parameter, and it is not able to handle dynamic query. While prepared statement is used when you want to execute the same query many times. It is capable of accepting input parameters at runtime. It can accept parameters. Callable statement is used when you want to access or execute stored procedures saved in the database. It also can accept runtime input parameters, and you will be mainly using statement, and we will see how to use statement as well as prepared statement and callable statement in example programs. So fifth step is execute this statement object we have formed. It will return a query result set. In order to execute this statement object, we can make use of execute query method. Execute query method is a method provided by statement interface, and this execute query method will return result set object that contains rows or records of a table. Format of execute query is public result set execute query. As argument, you have to pass the SQL statement. For example, suppose you have created an employee table, EMP table, within your database. An employee table may consist of columns like serial number or employee number, then employee name, employee company name, employee department, employee salary, employee age, employee birth date, etc. Here in this example, we are fetching the entire rows or entire data from the employee table, and we are iterating through the result set object. So result set rs is equal to statement object dot execute query. Inside that we are giving the query select star from emp. So it will select all the records from emp table. Now the records are there in rs object. So you have to iterate through rs object. So while rs dot next, it will point to the first row of the rs object. Then we are printing first two columns only. Get int of 1 means first column, its data type is number or integer type. So we are using getInt method. And second column data type is string. So we are using rs.getString. 1 indicates column 1 and 2 indicates column 2. This is how you are creating a statement object executing a query. I told the statement object has several methods that helps to execute a query. First method is execute query. Inside that you are using select statement. It will return result set. Suppose if you want to perform update or insert or delete, you have to use execute update method. If you want to create table or drop table, you have to use just execute method. Execute update method will return the number of rows affected. Suppose you are updating 5 rows using execute update method, it will return integer value 5. If you are inserting only a single row, it will return the result as 1. So number of rows affected is 1. And if you want to create table or drop table, you have to use statement object dot execute method. So there are mainly 3 types of methods provided by statement object if you want to execute an SQL statement. First one is execute, second method is execute update, third method is execute query. First execute method will return a boolean value. This is return a true value if a result set object can be retrieved. Otherwise it returns a false value. This method is mainly used for SQL DDL statements like create table, update, delete table, etc. So in order to perform DDL statements like create table or drop table, you can use execute method. It returns a boolean value. If you want to perform insertion or updation or delete to a table, you have to use execute update method. It returns the number of rows affected by execution of SQL statement. If you are updating 5 row, the int value will be 5. If you are updating only single row, the number of rows affected will be 1. And if you want to select rows from a table, or if you want to execute select statement, you have to use execute query method, and it will return object result set object. So these are the 3 important methods provided by statement object in order to execute SQL statement. Next step is process the result set. So I told the result will be available in the result set object. If you want to iterate through that, we can use result set dot next. It will goes to the next row. If there is no row, it will return a false. And if you want to fetch a string column, you can use result set dot get string. If you want to get integer value, get int. If you want to get double value, get double method you can use. If the column is of type string, then you can use get string, and by passing the column index also. Suppose you are giving get string of 1, it will return the value of designated column 1. Result set got get int retrieves an integer value. So what is a result set? It is an object that contains the results or rows of executing a SQL statement on a database. It is an object that contains results of executing a SQL statement on a database. Then after first step is you have to import the package. Second step is you have to load or register the database driver. Then you have to create a connection object. You have to form get connection method you have to use. You have to give the URL, you have to give the password and username of the database. After this connection object, you have to create a statement object to perform a query. After creating a statement object, you have to use either execute method or execute query method or execute update method to execute a query, then the result will be stored in the result set. You have to process that result set. After performing or analyzing the result set, after doing this database activities, you have to close the result set object, you have to close the statement object, finally you have to close the connection object. Otherwise, then only if you close these objects, then only the resources used up will be freed. You have to free all the corresponding database resources you have used. If you are not doing this explicitly, it may result in memory leakage, because suppose 10 users are established a connection to a database, there will be 10 connections opened up. If you don't close these connections, it will remain open even if the user logs out. So that will result in wastage of resources as well as wastage of memory. Also, whenever you fetch a result using select statement and execute that query, a cursor will be opened. That cursor will helps to iterate through the result set. So suppose 10 users are there, 10 users perform select operation, 10 cursor will be opened. So if you don't close this statement object or result set object, this cursor number of open cursors may exceed. There is a maximum limit of open cursor. So if you are not closing the unused connections or unused result sets, then the maximum open cursors will be exceeded. So if you free up this, if you close the result set and statement object, you will be freeing up the database resources used, and you will be freeing up the cursors used in the database. Finally, you have to close the connection object also. It is con dot create statement, and the result will be stored in a statement object. Then you have to execute the query. In order to execute query, we can make use of methods provided by statement object. Here we are selecting all the data from the employee table. So our query will be having the format select star from EMP. Star means we are fetching all the columns and all the rows of employee table. So since we are selecting all the data, since we are using a select command, we have to use execute query method of statement object, and execute query method will return a result set. It should be stored in a result set object. Here the result set object is rs. Rs is equal to statement object dot execute query select star from EMP. Next step is you have to process this result set. For that we have to use a loop. It will iterate through the rows of this result set. While rs dot next, it will be true if there is a row. Then we are printing the column names, first column, second column and third column. We are using getInt for first column because it is of number data type. We are using getString for second, it is name, and getInt for third column, it is number, again number data type. After iterating through all the rows, and when rs dot next become false, that means there is no other row to process, we exit that loop, and after that you have to close the connection object. Also it would be good if you explicitly close rs dot close as well as stmt dot close. First you have to close the result set object, you have to close the statement object, and finally you have to close the connection object. This program is used to connect Java application with MySQL database. We saw how to connect to a Oracle database. The program is same, only difference is we are trying to establish a connection to MySQL database. In that database there is again an EMP table. We will see how to fetch all the rows and columns of EMP table from MySQL database. For that you have to import the SQL package. Inside the main, first step is you have to load the driver of MySQL. You have to register the MySQL driver. For that we are using the code class.forename com.mysql.jdbc.driver. Then next step is you have to establish a connection to MySQL database. For that you have to use driver manager.getConnection method. You have to pass the URL, username and password. Here the URL is jdbc mysql localhost 3306, and database name is SONOO. Username is root and password is root. Next step is you have to create a statement object from the connection object. For that use con.create statement, and it will be stored in object of statement stmt. Next step is you have to use method of statement object to execute the SQL statement. Here we are using select command. So you have to use execute query method of statement object, and the result will be stored in result set. So result set rs is equal to statement object dot execute query. Our query is select star from EMP. The result will be stored in rs object. So you have to process the results by iterating this rs object. Rs dot next means it point to first row. If there is first row, it will return true. After fetching the results of first row, the pointer will move to the second row. Similarly, it moves till final row, and when there is no more row, rs dot next will give a false value. So we will exit from that loop. After that, you have to close the statement object, result set object as well as connection object. Next, second type of statement interface, that is prepared statement interface. Prepared statement interface, I have told, it is used to execute dynamic queries or parameterized SQL queries. It is able to access input parameters at runtime. It extends the statement interface. Suppose you are executing a particular SQL query multiple times, it will be better to use prepared statement. It is giving more performance than statement interface. So syntax, how to create a prepared statement object. For that, you have to create object of prepared statement. Then instead of connection dot creating statement, we are use connection dot prepare statement. Then you have to pass the query. Here query name is update student, set name is equal to question mark, and ID is equal to question mark. So here, these are question marks are placeholders, and we have to give the value using setter methods of prepared statement object. So first thing is you have to give value of name. Second thing is you have to give value for ID. So to give string value, we have to use set string method, and to give integer value, you have to use set in method. And first you have to give value for name, placeholder 1. So you are using statement prepared statement object dot set string 1 my name. That means it assigns my name to first placeholder. Next is ID is assigned as 111. That is assigns 111 to second placeholder using setInt method. After that, you can execute the prepared statement. For that, you have to use execute update method. So this is a complete program for inserting into a table, employee table. You have to insert ID, first name, last name, these three values into employee table. So insert will have to be performed multiple times. So instead of using statement interface, we can use prepared statement. So you can either import whole java.sql.star package, or you can specifically specify which all packages to import. Our class name is prepared statement demo. Inside main, first you have to create object of connection. Then you have to create object of prepared statement. Here the query used is insert into employee ID, first name, last name. And instead of specifying values here, we are giving the placeholders question mark. Later you have to set these values. First step is you have to register and load the driver. Here you are trying to connect to MySQL. So you have to load MySQL driver, class.for driver. Then you have to use a get connection method to establish connection to this database of MySQL. Our database name is JDBC demo. It has username as root and password is password itself. Then you have to prepare statement and give the SQL. You can either directly give the query here, or we can set the query and assign it to variable. Here SQL is a variable that contains the query. Our query is insert into table the values ID, first name and last name. So you have to set these values. First value is integer type, so give setInt. Our value is 87. Next set string, first name is Logesh, and for third set string the last name is Gupta. And you give pstmt.execute update, it will execute this SQL statement. What is the SQL statement? Insert into EMP table the values 87 to first column, Logesh to second column, Gupta to third column. How many rows are affected? Here only one row. We are inserting only one row, so only one row is affected. Affected rows will have a value 1. Then we are printing that value of affected row. So when you execute this program, we will get output as one row affected. You can close all these objects inside a finally statement. We have studied finally statement. This finally statement will be executed after all other statements. So we are closing the statement object and we are closing the connection inside the finally statement. Even if some exception occur, the finally statement will be executed. So we saw a program using prepared statement. Last one is callable statement. I have told callable statement is used to execute stored procedure. You don't have to study in detail about callable statement. Just understand what is stored procedure and what is callable statement. It is used to execute a stored procedure. Then what is a stored procedure? It is like a function or a method. The peculiarity is that it lives inside the database and you can execute the stored procedures using callable statement. It is able to accept parameters at runtime. There are three types of parameters to stored procedure. First one is in parameter, second one is out, third one is in out. If you want to pass values into the stored procedure, then we have to use in parameter. Out parameter will give values back from the stored procedure. Out parameters are used to hold the result returned by the stored procedure. In out act as both in and out parameter. So I told stored procedure is a prepared SQL code that you can save so that this can be reused over and over again. Like method, we can call stored procedure again and again from our program. So how to create a stored procedure? Syntax is create procedure. Our procedure name is select all customers. And what is inside that select all customer stored procedure? This stored procedure is used whenever you want to select data from customer table. So inside a Java program, you may have to access the customer table many times. So instead of providing the query every time, we can create it as a procedure. You can store it in the database. Whenever you want to select rows from customer table, you can execute this stored procedure. This stored procedure will be stored like a function inside the database. Our name of the stored procedure is select all customers. Then how executing a stored procedure from a Java application program? That is using callable statement. So syntax is you have to create object of callable statement. Then you have to call connection.prepare call. You have to give the name of the prepared stored procedure. Here the stored procedure name is calculate statistics. Then you have to call that calculate statistics stored procedure. It is able to accept two parameters. The question mark indicates the parameters. So next thing is you have to set the parameter value, whether it is input parameter or output parameter, what type of data type. So here first parameter is string type, second parameter is integer type. We are passing the value param1 to the first argument. We are passing the value 123 to the second argument. Next thing is how to execute this callable statement. For that you have to use execute query method. So when you call callable statement execute query, what happens? It will execute the stored procedure named calculate statistics that is saved inside the database. You don't have to study this callable statement or prepared statement in detail. Just go through this. Just understand what is that and callable statement. What is the purpose of callable statement? It is used to invoke stored procedure. What is a stored procedure? It is a function similar to a function in a programming language. Stored procedure is a function or a method saved in a database. When you want to execute a query multiple times, you can save it as a stored procedure. And you can execute that stored procedure each time using callable statement. So, in this session we familiarized database, what is DBMS, different types of DBMS. Then we saw what is JDBC. JDBC is nothing but Java Database Connectivity. That is a standard Java API for database independent connectivity between our Java programming language and wide range of databases. Then we examined the JDBC architecture. There are two types of JDBC architecture, 2-tier and 3-tier. Then we familiarized the steps required. There are 8 steps required to establish a JDBC connectivity. The steps are you have to import the package, then you have to load and register the required JDBC driver, then create a connection object using getConnection method, then you have to create a statement object, then you can utilize the statement object methods like execute or execute query or execute update to perform a query or to execute a query, then you will get a result set. We can analyze or process that result set. After that, you have to close the result set object, statement object, as well as connection object. These are the important 8 steps to access a Java database through JDBC connectivity. And you can watch this YouTube video that give an overview of how to install a database, then how to install the required driver for MySQL database. Then after installing this driver and database through a Java application, you are able to how to access this MySQL database from a Java application program written in NetBase IDE. So please watch this video. You will get an overview of these 8 steps we saw here. Thank you all for listening the video.